Thomas, a retired ranger, lives on the edge of the Orango Game Reserve in the wild central part of Namibia. Even though he is retired, he still keeps the habit of observing nature and helping the animals in the area. That morning, he decided to drive to the market in the village of Ajikango to buy some necessities. The market was crowded with stalls selling vegetables, fresh meat, fabrics, and local handicrafts. He slowly walked from stall to stall, cloth bag in hand, occasionally stopping to chat with the sellers. He was in no hurry, his eyes always looking around, looking for any unusual things. A corner of the market caught his eye, where there were iron cages and some strange sounds. Curiosity made him turn in that direction, his heart beating slowly, but a premonition began to rise. The soft moans the eyes of the caged animals made Thomas's heart feel like someone was squeezing it. He walked on silently in front of each cage until a strange man called him over. "Sir, come and see my precious goods. Not everyone gets to see them with their own eyes." The other man invited. Mr. Thomas walked over. In front of him was an old truck. Behind the iron cage, covered with a heavy tarpaulin, seller lifted the tarpaulin. Inside was a skinny lioness, lying motionless, eyes half open. "This one grew up with people, tame, very gentle. I raised it since it was a baby," the man said proudly. Mr. Thomas was silent, his face expressionless, his eyes observing each wound on the lion's body. The iron cage was dirty, there was no water. The floor of the truck was only covered with a few pieces of dry grass that were yellow and torn. The man held out his hand and invited, "Do you want to come in and touch it? It's used to people, it won't bite, don't worry." The cage door was open slightly. Mr. Thomas gently touched the lion's head, feeling the bones protruding through the skin. "Don't you think it's special? It's hard to find. If you don't buy it today, you'll regret it for the rest of your life." He withdrew his hand, intending to walk away, shaking his head in refusal with a cold and tired look in his eyes. The seller smiled politely, not giving up, continuously giving persuasion and pleading. "The price is not high. As long as you agree, I will give you a discount. This one is very attached to you." Suddenly the lion raised its head, looked at Mr. Thomas, its eyes filled with tears, as if it contained something. It slowly stood up, its two front paws placed on the cage wall, and leaned towards Mr. Thomas. Its big, sad, and deep eyes seemed to beg for one last thing in life: liberation. At that moment, Mr. Thomas stood still, clearly feeling the silent cry for help from the lion. He took a step back, but it still clung to the cage, its skinny legs trembling, but its eyes were determined. Unable to ignore it, he turned back to look at the seller. "How much will it cost for me to take it away?" The man paused for a second, then happily called out the price, not forgetting to add a few flattering words. He did not bargain, quietly took out money from his old leather wallet, counted each bill, and handed it to the seller. Seller excitedly opened the cage, stepped back to make room. "Congratulations on having a new loyal friend." He stepped into the car, gently stroked the lion's head, and placed his hand on its shoulder, as if reassuring a child. The lion gently stepped down from the truck, staggering a few steps, still trying to stick close to Mr. Thomas. Everyone around widened their eyes, stepped back. Some were scared, some took out their phones to film. He did not care, leading the lion to his pickup truck parked nearby. He lined the back of the car with a blanket, placed a jug of water, and waited for it to get on as an honored passenger. The lion immediately climbed into the car, sat close to the wall, its eyes still looking at him as if to say thank you. He closed the car door, started the engine, and left the market, the commotion still echoing behind him like a warning. On the way home, he looked in the bogger rearview mirror and saw the lion sleeping with its head down behind him. "Don't worry, you're safe from now on," he said softly, not sure if it was to it or to himself. Arriving home, he opened the door and led the lioness into the warm wooden living room. It did not resist, just sat quietly on the old rug by the fireplace, groaning softly. He went to get water and fresh meat from the refrigerator, cut it into small pieces, and fed it piece by piece. The lion ate slowly, its eyes gradually softened, its head slightly resting on his knee. After the meal, it curled up and slept soundly, its skinny body curled up like a big cat. He sat on the sofa, picked up the landline phone, and called the Orango Conservation Area Ranger's number. "There is a lion I just rescued from Ajikango Market. It needs to be received and checked." His voice was deep, each word clear, unable to hide his anger and anxiety. Next, he called the local police to report the wildlife trafficking situation. "I know the exact location of the stalls. Urgent action is needed to rescue the remaining animals. He took out a pen and paper and wrote down the details of the time, location, and characteristics of the man who sold the brown lion. The small house became more alive than ever with the gentle breathing of the strange animal. Before going to bed, he spread a thick blanket for the lion and closed the door gently. That night, for the first time in many years, he slept well and felt that he still had a role to play with nature. The next morning, he prepared coffee early, went out to check, and found the lion waiting for him at the door. The rangers arrived early, bringing a specialized vehicle, a large cage, and medical examination equipment. They conducted a preliminary examination and then gently loaded the lion into the vehicle, as if caring for a weak patient. The lion did not growl, only looked at Mr. Thomas one last time before the car door closed. At the Orango Conservancy, veterinarians and animal care specialists were waiting to receive him. It was taken to a modern examination room, placed on a white table with a 4 heart monitor. Vital signs were stable, with only boosing signs of physical exhaustion and loss of hunting instinct. This lion cannot be released back into the wild. It has lived too long in a domesticated environment, the doctor concluded. The decision was made: keep it in a semi-wild enclosure, simulating nature. But with a fence, they prepared a large enclosure with trees, large rocks, dry grass, and alternating sun and shade areas. The lion gradually recovered, ate better, started walking, playing with shade and artificial spring water. It did not roar like a wild lion, but its eyes regained some vitality. The staff nicknamed it Zara, meaning brighten. The local language, Zara began to get used to her new life every day, facing the gate as if waiting for someone. Mr. Thomas called every morning to check on her health and mental state. Zara is fine, but I believe she still misses you, a young employee said over the phone, his voice as light as the morning breeze. The next day, Mr. Thomas led a group of police and rangers back to the Ochango market. They quietly filmed and recorded all the evidence before signaling arrest warrant. 7 stalls were seized. More than 20 animals were rescued from rusty iron cages. The man selling the lions was arrested along with many exhibits and cash. The local government pledged to tighten surveillance and protect wildlife more strictly. 3 days later, Mr. Thomas drove to the reserve to visit Zara. When he saw her, Zara immediately ran to the fence, rubbing her head against the bars as if to greet him. He sat down, reached out to touch the mesh. Zara pressed her cheek against it, her eyes gentle. The two of them sat together in silence, in a peace that needed no words. "You've come to the right place," he said softly, his eyes shining with reassurance. From a trip to the market, Mr. Thomas saved a soul that was quietly waiting to be released. Love for nature and compassion never retire with age. Zara and him, 2 lonely lives, now found a place to belong. What do you think of this story? Leave your thoughts in the comments section.